Magandang araw, ako po si Trixie Cruz-Angeles. Narinig natin ang Pangulo nung in-address niya ang United Nations last year na ginagamit ng kaliwa o ng mga kalaban ng Estado ang human rights. He used the term weaponizing human rights. Nung lumabas ang Senate report kamakailan, binanggit din nila ang term na ito, weaponizing human rights o ang paggagamit ng karapatan pang tao, in this case, dito sa Pilipinas, laban sa Estado. Ang konteksto ng sinasabi ng ating Pangulo ay yung pagpapahina sa Estado, weakening the state through the use of accusations, false and sometimes even true, against the state unjustifiably. Paano po umabot sa ganitong paratang? How did it get to this? Well, umpisahan natin. Last year, pinag-uusapan yung sinasabing Magnitsky Act. Kasi daw, hindi pa papasukin ang mga katulad ni Senator Bato de la Rosa sa Estados Unidos. And in fact, the US Embassy unilaterally canceled Senator Bato's visa to the United States. Sinabi rin na baka hindi siya makakapasok sa US even if he has family there dahil pagdating niya doon ay maaaring i-kumpiska yung kanyang mga property or any accounts that he might have there, and it's possible that he will get deported. Okay pa yun eh. Pero ano ba talaga itong Magnitsky Act? Yung Magnitsky Act kasi, isang batas yan na medyo naging resulta ng isang fraud. Si William Browder, isang US investor, ay nag-create ng scam at ang biktima ay yung Russian Treasury. Accountant niya, itong si Magnitsky, although later on he claimed that he was his lawyer. Naaresto itong si Magnitsky dun sa Russia for helping to perpetrate the tax fraud. Namatay si Magnitsky doon sa preso sa Russia because of poor prison conditions. However, nag-spin na ng storya itong si Browder at humingi ng batas laban dun sa mga opisyales na kiniklaim niya na bumugbog daw kay Magnitsky kaya ito namatay sa preso. Nang ginawa ang Magnitsky Act, ito ay para ma-penalize or makulong kaagad pag pumunta sa United States yung mga naturang opisyales na yon. May problema na kaagad dun sa batas. Kasi without due process, dineclare ng batas na ito, yung Magnitsky Act, na mga kriminal itong mga to without having them go through court. Nevertheless, na-expand pa itong batas na ito to be known as the Global Magnitsky Act. Itong Global Magnitsky Act will allow the US to identify human rights violators in other countries and penalize them through either the revocation of their visas, which they can do naman anytime, or the confiscation of their property that's located in the United States. They can also be denied visas. Just to be clear, however, with or without a Magnitsky Act, the United States does not need a reason to deny anybody a visa. They can deny you if they're worried that you might go TNT, or they can deny you because they just don't like your face or you didn't answer right during the interview sa consulate. Gayunpaman, iniisip na ng ibang mga bansa yung paggamit nitong Magnitsky Act to be adopted in their jurisdictions para magamit against other people without due process. Okay? That is one way of weaponizing human rights. Hindi kaagad nakita ng US government na yung original law nito, yung Magnitsky Act, not the Global Magnitsky Act, was the result of a fraud. Much later na lang na-realize nila, but now it has become expanded to be known as the Global Magnitsky Act. Pero dito sa Pilipinas, paano ba wina-weaponize ang human rights? Tulad nga ng sinabi ni Pangulo, ito ay yung pag-weaken sa Estado, pagpapahina sa Estado. Pinansin din ng natatandaan ninyo yung High Commissioner of Human Rights ng United Nations gumawa ng report na hindi paborable sa atin dito sa Pilipinas. at humingi sa United Nations ng sanction sa atin at ipilit daw tayo na magkaroon ng investigasyon on human rights. Hindi po pumayag ang United Nations Council, kung kaya't nirecommend lang ay tulungan ang Pilipinas sa pag-comply dito sa human rights. And one of our obligations to that was itong investigasyon ni Secretary of Justice doon sa mga non-laban deaths. Okay. Meanwhile, dun sa report ng UN High Commissioner on Human Rights, pinansin niya na kadalasan ang issues or those who complain about human rights violations ay connected with the insurgency. Kakayanig. Bakit? Ito nga yung sinasabi dun sa Senate report that the CPP and NPA, they use a two-pronged approach dito sa revolutionary struggle nila. Armed struggle and legal struggle. Yung legal struggle, yung constant complaints and filing of cases against state agents. State agents kasi ang tinatawag natin sa mga uniformed personnel ng armed services at saka civilian services like the PNP. A uniformed police officer, those in the uniformed services are considered state agents and they act on behalf of the state. Therefore, pag hininaan nyo yung mga institusyon ng mga state agents, then humihina rin by implication yung ating estado. The country gets weaker. Ang ginagawa ng ating mga so-called human rights groups ay walang humpay na pagka-criticize, pagfa-file ng mga kaso to the point of bringing it to the level of harassment in many instances. Some of them are motivated by good intentions. Others, not so good. Particularly those groups associated with the CPP and NPA and who are part of the so-called legal struggle. Malalim nung sinabi ng Pangulo, they are weaponizing human rights. At nandyan na rin yung pag-weaponize ng ibang mga karapatan natin. Mag-i-election po sa 2022. Wini-weaponize ang freedom of speech, kunwari, ng ilang mga nasa social media at ilang mga nasa traditional media. Huwag po tayong magpapaloko dahil parati silang nagka-claim. Victim, victim, victim parati sila. But unless they provide evidence and unless they file their cases, that's all it is. It's a complaint that has no substance. Ito rin ang makikita natin sa Senate report. And this is important for us to remember. Kung mayroong problema, dapat ikaso. If you think that there are rights involved. So, yung Senate investigation on red tagging is very significant. Kasi, ang reklamo ng mga tao na sumusuporta, if morally lang, ng CPP at NPA, alam natin because they refuse to condemn them, sinasabi, pag na-red tag kami, they put our lives in danger. Sino daw ang nagre-red tag? AFP or PNP. Kapag nire-red tag daw sila, mapapatay sila. Itong sinabi ni Teddy Casino. Nung tinanong, sinong papatay sa inyo? Ang sabi nila, yung AFP. Which means it doesn't make any sense. AFP nag-red tag, tapos sila rin ang papatay? Anong ibig sabihin nun? Diba? Why would the AFP bother to tell the world na papatayin namin itong taong to if yung pagpapatay sa kanila ay illegal? On the other hand, diba? Teddy Casino and the people who support, even if only morally, the CPP and NPA are also interested in weakening the state. And by weakening weakening the means that the state can use to protect itself. Sa pag-e-expose ng ating yung mga sumusuporta sa CPP at NPA para sila ay maimbestigahan. One, sinabi ng Senado, hindi ito illegal. Illegal lang pag tumawid into libel. And so this is it. Weaponizing human rights to deprive us, the AFP and us, the general public, of an opportunity to defend the state. Totoo, may mga victims ng human rights. Totoo, na human rights is something we have to uphold. Pero habang ginagawa po natin yan, we also need to be very careful. Lahat ng paratang, lahat ng akusasyon sa pag-violate ng human rights should come with evidence and should be subjected to due process. Huwag tayong tumulad sa US na for all their claims sa demokrasya ay gumawa ng isang Magnitsky Act na nagpapunish o nagbibigay ng penalty sa mga tao kahit walang due process. In weaponizing human rights, they defeat human rights and other rights as well. Ako po si Trixie Cruz-Angeles. Ito po ang Luminous. Huwag kalimutan mag-subscribe.